repeat the questions. We don't have a mic to pass around so that our folks at home will know what y'all are answering. So with that said, let's start with Dan.
For any of you guys or all of you, it seems like the biggest thing to manage this week was sleep and rest with the distance to the lake. What special steps did you guys take to try to stay on? Because mentally it can affect you, but what did you guys go with?
Yeah, so folks at home, that was a great question. It was a very long drive from the lake to the weigh-in, and we're wondering, how did you manage your time and your rest? We can start with it. If anyone wants to raise their hand to answer that one first, or we can all answer it. All right, Lee.
That's pretty simple. It's the classic. You know, nobody cares about sleep. We don't realize we're tired. We don't realize it until tomorrow or tonight. And that's true, you know. It's just an adrenaline rush for 10 days or however long we're here. So no sleep, you know, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is, I mean, I think I can speak for all of us, but we all have friends and family that help out big time with us. You know, we got friends that drive us to and from the lake, and you know, it's a long week, but like he said, it's the classic, and you know, sleep's kind of put on the back burner for 7 or 8 days.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, like Cory said, friends and family is everything. I mean, having them, you know, drive the boat, hook up the boat, anything needs to be done. Bring food back to the hotel when you get back to the hotel, so you don't have to, you know, go sit down at a restaurant or do something like that. That's key. I will say today, though, this morning was probably the most tired I've ever been. I actually had to drink like my first Red Bull ever, and I was bouncing off the walls.
Bassmaster history is made again. That is awesome. All right, very good. Great question. Next question, please. Yes, sir.
5 out of 6 of the final 6, I have less than 5 years as a full-time pro. What do you think that says about the newcomer moving this after you guys?
Yeah, great question. Wondering about what the newcomer movement means with all the youth doing so well. How about we start with one of the young ones?
Well, can you repeat the question?
5 out of the 6 of the final 6 where you have less than 5 full years as a full-time pro. What do you see from the youth when you're in that right now?
Yeah, I mean, I see primarily, you know, obviously we're seeing the younger generation. We just saw a 19-year-old win the last Elite Series event, or the first Elite Series event, I should say. Or no, that was the second one. Yeah, so I mean, the youth movement's being crazy right now. I think, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, this and that with electronics and this and that coming out, you know, we have a step ahead, you know, the younger generation and this, but I feel like, you know, over time, you know, this is what you're going to see more of. You're going to see, you know, guys that are going to get up, you know, an hour before it's daylight and stay out, you know, until the very last minute they can, fish as hard as they can. You know, they're on the water 24/7. I mean, that's the number one thing, is on the water every day, all day. You know, that's what the younger generation, you know, they're putting in the time on the water and it's paying off.
But I think to add to that, the younger generation has so much knowledge like readily available for them. All they have to do is go on YouTube and they can learn so fast, whereas, I mean, like, I consider myself an old guy now, and I didn't have any of that. You know, I went out on the water, learned everything, and everything that I was taught, somebody showed me, or we figured it out for ourselves. And I mean, these guys, all they have to do is do their homework, and everything is right there at their fingertips, so they can learn.
Very good question. All right, next. Yeah, David.
Any or all of you guys, different weather complexes this week. What were your biggest adjustments, and how did you modify it?
Very, yeah, this would be a great one for all of y'all to answer. The weather was crazy different. What adjustments did you have to make, and did it affect your outcome? We'll start with Adam.
Yeah, you know, when the sun would come out and it would slick off, like my fish all seemed to move up shallower, and if we had the clouds and wind, I had to slide out and locate them in a little bit deeper waters. So you're constantly moving in and out until you got those first couple bites, and then you could concentrate on that depth range and run it all over the lake.
Cody?
Yeah, Adam's exactly right. The first day, whenever it was nice and calm and the sun was really shining, a lot of the big ones I caught were super, super shallow. And, you know, we had that cold front and all the wind and the clouds moved in, and it seemed like he said, you had to back out, slow down, and, you know, just trying to completely relocate them because they would leave.
Yeah, so that first day of the tournament when it was super calm, I was actually fishing isolated brush piles offshore. I'm not gonna say it was easy to catch the fish, but you could stay on the fish a lot easier. These brush piles were in like 6 foot of water, so you could watch a fish on Livescope chase your bait. Where when you had, 1.5 chop, 2 footers coming in on your trolling motor, it was a little bit harder to do that. That's when I had to adjust, go to the bank, go to the docks, fishing in between the docks. Kind of like Cody said, the fish had slid out a little bit. They weren't in that super shallow water. They were in that, 2 to 5 foot range. So I was just dragging that structure jig literally on just pea gravel in between the docks, catching fish on kind of just a nothing bank, not even targeting, the specific boat docks.
For me, day one was kind of my bad day. I started and I fished a lot of isolated brush piles, and for me, I just had a bad day. A lot of fish didn't commit. I lost a few, but from then on, I switched game plans and strictly went shallow, and I mean like dirt shallow, where your trolling motor's kicking up mud for day 2, and then this morning, and then I switched gears and went bed fishing. There's actually some fish starting to spawn, and I went and did that for the remainder of the day today.
I just fished shallow the whole time and made it work. I didn't adjust any, I just kept looking.
That's awesome. All right, next question. Yes.
Hi, this message is for Jay. My name is Fahima with Fox 23 News. So, you've been in 35 tournaments and you've won 3 first place titles. Did you think going into the Classics this time you'd win your 4th?
Did I think I would win this Bassmaster Classic? I mean, obviously everybody wants to win, right? We all have the goal to go out to win. I feel like it was going to have to be a meant-to-be deal for me. I would have had to have had a really good practice, and everything would have had to have lined up perfectly. I lost a couple fish this week. That kind of hurt me a little bit. So obviously, yeah, I wanted to win here. I won here as a co-angler back in 2019. Not saying, that I would have won here this week at the Classic, but obviously, yeah, I wanted to win, but it didn't happen.
Any other questions for the group? Okay, if not, we're gonna do something else. Oh, I'm sorry, Luke, did you have one?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to dodge all these cameras.
Sorry.
I understand, I'm sorry.
Maybe it was asked, but I'm curious to know, if it's already been asked. How many of you guys up here relied on Livescope to catch the fish?
Okay, question, good question. How many of you guys relied on Livescope, and then partial, what was the percentage? Sorry.
No, I didn't even have my graphs on.
I relied on it the first day and I sucked, so I turned it off and went shallow.
I relied on it the first day.
100%.
Oh, no. I relied on it the first day until I couldn't see the fish because they were actually on the bottom and they would eat my bait on the bottom, so I never actually saw them eat it on Livescope. I would just use it to cast to the fish to make sure I was lining up my cast correctly. So I would say probably like 40% of the time.
I actually did not Livescope a bass the entire tournament.
I was probably 70-30. Most of the time I was using it just to make a precise cast on a piece of structure. However, today, I saw most of the ones that I caught. So.
All right, very good, very good. Any other questions? Okay, so new this year, we're gonna have just a few minutes. If you guys will stay up here, I know there's been a couple of video requests. We're gonna give that for about 2 or 3 minutes. So any of you guys that are doing video, if you'd like to slide up here and get those videos done, our champion is gonna be coming out in about 5 to 7 minutes. So once that happens, then we'll escort y'all off the stage, and then we'll be talking with our new Bassmaster Classic champion. So those video guys that want to get some work done real quick, feel free to come on up.